Welcome to Reef Diary, where I talk about my reef tank and what I did that day. As you can see, my SPS corals are looking great, but what's happening down below in the sump? Oof. The protein skimmer hasn't been cleaned in about a year and a half, and it's full of vermetids, and these are big ones and little ones. The combination between the two of them required me to use acid to melt them all away and get the skimmer cleaned up. Most of them were on the inside, but there were a few on the outside as well. So I put my skimmer in this large vat, and then I started to take it apart. And I noticed that my silencer had so much dust in it, it created little stalagmites at the bottom that were just clogged up and had to be removed. So I soak the skimmer in acid and I run it with electricity, and I want to make sure my plugs can't get wet. So they're up on top of a pot away from the water, and I filled up the tub with 12 gallons of water and about 2 containers of pump clean because I needed 48 scoops. And then I let the skimmer overflow for many, many hours. I went ahead and took off the collection cup and looked inside, and look at this goo. This is not the skimmate I'm used to seeing. This stuff was like rubber. It was crazy. I mean, you could grab it in a clump. It was like you're supposed to hand it to your kid to play with, which is so wrong, right? But anyway, I was able to clean all of this off, but the texture was just remarkable, so I took lots of pictures for you. I even accidentally dropped some on the tile floor, but since it's porcelain, it wiped right up, no big problem. So here is the air silencer, nice and clean, and the collection cup is nice and clean, and let me show you a quick little video overview of what I was doing earlier. I'm doing a little cleaning today, so I've got my protein skimmer soaking in pump clean. It took a lot because I have 12 gallons of liquid in there to clean my giant skimmer. I also cleaned the waste collector. I've got the electricity off the ground. The collection cup is nice and clean, including the bottom side, which was insanely gross with goo. Now it's not. And I'm working on the algae turf scrubber, almost done with that. Here is my cleaned off screen ready to restart. Here's inside the algae turf scrubber, and you can see the spray bar has all kinds of algae on it. So I had to pull that out and of course clean every single hole and clean the inside. And this is what the screen looked like. I'm still not happy with it. It should be bright green. It's got a lot of snot in there, but I've been dosing these trace elements, which should help. I still was able to remove about a baseball-sized clump of algae, and I got the entire thing reassembled, and it's operational again the way it should be. Now that the skimmer's been running in acid for so many hours, I knew it was ready to disassemble, and I went ahead and brought it all inside and into the kitchen and took it apart layer by layer until I got it completely disassembled to clean each component. It was actually really filthy, and in a strange way that I'm not really used to seeing. Both pumps were intact and doing well, so I cleaned them up. And here I found you a few more Texas-sized vermetids just to impress you. I couldn't believe the size of the things I pulled out of my sump and out of my skimmer. But they are no longer in there, and that's what matters the most. They are now in the trash can where they belong. A nice thing that happened today was that I was able to be on the phone with Dwayne for about 3 hours while he worked in his tank and I was working on mine. So the time just flew by as we just talked, but that's why there's barely any video, because I can't shoot video when I'm on the phone. But I was able to get my entire protein skimmer cleaned up, my algae turf scrubber cleaned up, the Vortech power heads were swapped out with clean ones, the skimmer is back in the sump, it's operational, and now all should be well with my reef tank. Of course, there's still more to do. I still got to clean the glass. I got to clean the front of the refugium. There's more, but that's all I got done for today, and I can't wait to go to sleep.